That bitch nigga is like that. Welcome back to another episode of Survival Time. We finna get into motherfucking Big Mumpy. Never heard of him. I just know where he from, which is the A-Trade side. Let's see what the fuck is up, because it be a lot of weird shit that be going on in Cali. And I really like reacting to these videos because it give you more information, just period. But this is a Boys in the Hood episode, not a War in Cali episode. So, subscribe to this nigga channel because he got dope video and content. So, let's see what's up.
And he was looking at me, all me mugging. He asked me where I'm from. I'm from neighborhood.
Welcome to Boys in the Hood TV. Today we're going to be discussing the life of Big Mumpy from the rolling 60s. Now, Big Mumpy was born Michael Mump and raised on the east side of South Central in the early 60s. Now, by 1967, his family would move to the west side of South Central on St. Andrew's Place. As a kid, he would attend 74th Elementary School with people like Pretty Boy, who lived on 67 and Western. Now later on, he would attend Horace Mann Junior High School. Now Mumpy's family lived across the street directly from Horace Mann, so he only had to walk a short distance, and he would always see his homies heading to school. Now growing up, Mumpy was heavy into baseball and loved to play any chance that he got. Now around the same time, Tookie Williams was running the original West Side Crips. Mumpy would see OGs in the hood wearing leather jackets, the brim hats. He would witness them dressing fly and getting all the girls. Now this would grab Mumpy's attention because he wanted to be a part of that same lifestyle. But his mother was not tolerating it. She was very strict about his grades and school being the first priority in his life, which Mumpy continued to focus on. Now not only was Mumpy a good student, he was also a talented pianist who would also play at talent shows. But even with staying on the straight path, the street life was still in the back of his mind. Now by the 8th grade, Mumpy would witness the formation of the Rolling 60s take place in his neighborhood. And many of his friends will become members of the 60s, while others will become members of the A-Trade Gangster Crips who lived across Western Avenue. Now at the time, the Rolling 60s and the A-Trade Gangster Crips were extremely close allies and had nothing but love for each other. Now eventually, Mumpy will get put on to the 60s and start going by Big Mumpy. Now he will build a close relationship with OG Big Rick, a known heavy hitter from the rolling 60s. Big Rick would school Mumpy in the street life and how to hustle and get money out here also. Now it wouldn't be too long after that Mumpy would start getting in trouble as a teen in the streets. But by 1976, he would start attending Crenshaw High. Now the 60s and the Inglewood families were fighting over control over Crenshaw High School, and Mumpy will be right in the mix. Now although Mumpy didn't come from an extremely tough background, he wasn't afraid to run fades with anybody from Inglewood. Now Mump would start to earn respect from his peers, which included his enemies also. Now he also had a habit of ditching school, which started to become a regular occurrence for him, which would lead to him to getting in trouble for being truant. Now this behavior of missing school and running the streets, this will come at a price, and eventually Mumpy will be kicked out of Crenshaw High School. He would then later be transferred to Dorsey High School, but this would not deter Mumpy. He will continue going down that negative path. Now when he wasn't in school, he would be found on Arlington, kicking it with the homies Big Rick, Pie Face, Big Feet, and others. Now Arlington was the go-to spot and main block for the 60s at the time, but also
Niggas outside doing nothing. This nigga know how to play piano. He a good student, all type of shit. And he ruining his life and don't even see the shit. Shout out to his mama, because real talk, I could see she fighting for him to not be in the street type shit. I could see she actually trying to push him in the right path. And the issue is, he 9 times out of 10 need a daddy to beat his ass too. But another thing is also like just understanding that peer pressure is a motherfucker. People be having all the opportunity in the world and they will waste that shit on nothing. You going on the block to do nothing, literally, just to hang out and talk to niggas. What the fuck? It's no real reason to sit on the fucking block. I don't care how old you is. You sitting outside for what? You not even getting no money for real. And if you is getting money, then you just leaving yourself open for a motherfucker to come rob you, pop you, whatever. Anybody gonna see you outside. You just outside doing nothing. You just sitting there chilling.
Mump and other members from the rolling 60s was known to kick it with homies from the Hoovers like Lil Bam from time to time. His mother would try her best to keep Mump out the streets, but at this point, Big Mump was way too deep into the gang life. Now throughout the hood, Big Mumpy was mainly known for having house parties when his mother was at work. Most of the time, it was 60s and A-Trades who would be in attendance. He would also develop a solid respect for OGs from the 8 Trays, like OG Scud and Big Vamp. Now, Mump would also have a close relationship with was Kerwin Scott, who was the big brother of a young Monster Cody, and Mumpy would always kick it over to Scott's house on a daily basis when they stayed on 69th off of Dinker. Now, eventually, this close relationship and Crip camaraderie between the 8 Trays and the 60s would turn sour after the death of Big Rick's little brother, Tyrone, in 1979. Now, at the time of his murder, Mumpy was headed to meet with Tyrone after watching a baseball game. But before he got there, one of his homies would run up and tell him about Tyrone. So Mumpy would then run down to Florence and Hobart to where the fight took place and see the aftermath. Later on that evening, all the 60s, including Mumpy, would meet up on Arlington to wait for Big Rick to tell him the bad news. Now, once Big Rick heard exactly what happened, he would grab his gun, and he, Mumpy, and the rest of the 60s would head over to talk to the 8 Trays. But things would escalate once Big Rick demanded that they give up the shooter who killed his little brother. But when the 8 Trays failed to give up that shooter, these once close friends would become the deadliest of enemies. Now, with Mumpy out running the streets, he would eventually leave home and get his own apartment. Not long after his 17th birthday, one Sunday evening at the Rosecrans skating rink, the Rollin 60s, which included Big Mump and the little homies like Petey Wack and Lil Mump, would all be in attendance. Also there was other hoods like the 111s and the Hoovers. Now, the night would be going well until a confrontation would break out between the Hoovers and a Crip from 111. But in the midst of this argument between these two hoods, Mumpy would notice that one of the Hoovers started mean mugging him. And then suddenly, that Hoover member would ask Mump where he was from, and he would respond, "I'm from neighborhood." Now, the Hoovers misunderstood, assuming that Mumpy meant that he was from 111 neighborhood Crip. Now, in this moment, Mumpy knew that it was about to go down, and he knew that he did not have his gun on him, and he knew that the Hoovers were all strapped. So he would tell his girlfriend to go out to the car and grab his gun. Now, once he got his gun on him, Mumpy would step to that Hoover member and ask him to repeat himself. Now, in the midst of this conversation, that's when he noticed an 8 Tray gangster Crip in the background reaching for a sawed-off shotgun. So that's when Mumpy would up his pistol and start threatening that 8 Tray gangster Crip that he would shoot him if he pulled that gun. Eventually, Mumpy and the other 60 members would leave the skating rink. But sometime later, the news would come out that that 8 Tray gangster Crip that Mumpy had got into it with had been murdered.
This is what blow me, right? You can't go to the park, you can't go to the skating rink, you can't go to the motherfucking club, you can't do shit, you can't have no type of fun for real. None of this shit should be going down in no fucking skating rink, one. And what the fuck is you bringing your gun to the skating rink for? All y'all doing is just causing drama and negativity amongst each other. Like, it's just be dumb. And then you got other niggas that's there that's not even gang banging. 9 times out of 10, that's just there to skate and fucking have fun. And if y'all busting shots and one of them get hit, then what? Now y'all done killed the innocent motherfucker that didn't have nothing to do with neither one of these conversations. This is why I say that question, where you from in California, will get niggas killed so fast. That's why I would never, ever let no nigga ask me that if I'm in California. I don't care what part or what area, territory, whatever, nigga. You ask me that, nigga, I'm either gonna steal off on you, I'm gonna shoot you, or whatever the fuck I gotta do, and I'm taking the fuck off because I don't know how many niggas is finna come out to cut on my ass. Because that's niggas' famous favorite question, and then they always got backup waiting on your ass. So you do not need to fuck around. They asked Ice Spice that shit when they stole off on her. They asked a bunch of people that, even on YG song, they asked, where you from, nigga? And they get to popping off. That's just their excuse to pop off on your dumb ass. But no, this is just a shame that black people can't come together and just enjoy themselves without bullshit happening over some dumb shit. Like, it's a misunderstanding that niggas thought he was from somewhere else that he wasn't. And it was killing me most is it hurt. I know it hurt his mama more because she fought for this nigga to do better, and he keep choosing to do worse, and he keep putting himself in dumbass predicaments. Now, if somebody would up their gun already and just shot the fuck out of him, it would have been a total different story. Thank God nobody got shot that night, because they could have probably killed somebody that didn't deserve it.
Murdered. Now, the rumors would start to spread throughout the hood that Big Mump was the shooter because everybody had saw him get into that argument at the skating rink. And this would lead to Mumpy becoming a target and on the hit list of the 8 Tray gangster Crips. Now, eventually, Mumpy would get a phone call from another Crip who he had known for a minute. And this member would tell him that he was out in Long Beach at the time. Now, after having this conversation with this Crip, Mumpy would then get on the phone with his homeboy from 60s named Pie Face. Now, as they are talking, suddenly, there's a knock at Mumpy's door. When he looks through the peephole, he realizes it's the homie he had just got off the phone with who told him that he was in Long Beach at the time. Mumpy and his Crip would sit down and start talking for a bit, but eventually this Crip would let Mumpy know that he had to leave. Now, as Mumpy is getting ready to close the door, that Crip would turn around and pull out a gun and put it straight to Mumpy's head. And without giving it a second thought, Mumpy would immediately turn and start punching on that Crip and knocking him to the ground. Now, as Mumpy is giving this dude the beats, that's when a group of 8 Trey gangster Crips will come running up the stairs with blue rags tied on their face. And that's when Mumpy will try to run to go grab his gun, but as he is running through the living room, he is hit multiple times as he is struck in his back. Now, somehow, Mumpy is able to crawl behind a bar and get on the phone and call his homeboy Pieface and let him know to call his mother. Now, the shooting would suddenly stop. But as Mumpy started to drag himself to the next room, that's when the shooting would start up again. He would eventually be able to pull himself into his pantry room and lock himself in the inside, where he would call 911. Eventually, the police would arrive at Mumpy's apartment. But by the time they got there to speak with him,
Yeah, don't talk all that shit to me, bro, on them comments, G. The police be saving niggas' ass a lot of times. And this is a prime situation where I say, niggas be talking that shit about the police, and then the whole time they need the police when they need them. Nah, nigga, you can't handle every situation. Another thing is, nigga, this just led into what the fuck I said. Niggas ain't never showing up by themselves in California, nigga. You think shit sweet, nigga? Them niggas is mob the fuck. They finna pull up on your ass with a group of niggas. And then you knew it was a setup because he said he was somewhere else, but he popped up on you like not even 10 minutes after y'all got off the phone or whatever. Fuck out of here. You can't trust no nigga that just popped up on you out the blue. Then another thing is you cool with both sides. This just lets you know, like I already said so many times before, niggas could be cool with you, but it don't matter. They'll put so many things in between being cool with you that it's fuck you. They don't even know for sure if he let the gun off or not for real when this shit happened, as far as the event they trying to kill him for. They just know he was there and he upped the gun. Then another thing is, nigga, y'all all Crips and y'all all beefing over some dumb shit. When I know about the fight, they shouldn't even pull no gun out, or they said it was a random ass nigga that they didn't even know who the fuck he was. That's why they couldn't give him up to nobody, and that's the reason why it became such a big war between the 8 Trays and the Rolling 60s. But another thing is, bro, when you in the streets, you can't be trusting no fucking body, bro, and you should keep your gun on you at all times. And this just should have taught him a lesson then, but I know it probably won't 9 times out of 10. But you don't want to fucking die early over no goofy ass shit like nigga, a color nigga, or just even a little simple ass argument, bro. It ain't worth it, bro. My man's literally just got lit the fuck up in his own home, and he thought it was sweet because he thought he was safe. He think he cool with niggas that he don't know gonna snake him at the end of the day. And 90% of these niggas is gonna snake you at the end of the day. Niggas be so ready to catch a body, they gonna snake you just because they want to catch a body, and it's gonna be easy to drop you, and they know they can set you up. Don't never turn your back on no nigga, and don't ever give no nigga all your trust, because at the end of the day, if you know this man is on the opposite side of what you doing, and then not even just that, you got niggas that'll be in the same gang, in the same area, neighborhood with you, and it still set you up. Don't trust no nigga, man. That's the last thing you want to do in life, is trust niggas. And then you don't want to trust no niggas that's living that low life, because it's no honor amongst thieves. I can't trust no nigga that's out here killing niggas, because you might smoke me. It's a possibility you gonna smoke me over some dumb shit, argument or whatever. Like, I'm not finna sit around you with no gun or with no knife or something. Like, I'm not even finna really give you my time like that. It just don't make sense to me. Then another thing is, shit, you so ready to pop off, nigga, you not even thinking about none of this shit that could possibly transpire after the fact of what the fuck you just did. You didn't even kill a nigga that you upped the gun on. You supposed to shoot as soon as you pick your piece out. That's what I was always told old school niggas do. So when they show that bitch, they gonna let it off. Fuck out of here.
he would then pass out. Now, the next morning, he will wake up in the hospital, and his right leg will be paralyzed after a bullet got stuck in his spine. Now, a lot of his homies from the 60s will come up there to visit him, and they initially thought that Mumpy's girlfriend had set him up because she was from Hoover's. But Mump would have to let them know that she had nothing to do with it. Now, after being shot, the 60s would spin the block on the 8 Trays, getting revenge for Mump. But sadly for Mumpy, things would go from bad to worse. Once he recovered from being shot, Big Mumpy will go down for a hot one at the age of 17. And he will be sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 9 years. But once Mumpy hit the prison yard, that's when he will realize that the war was no longer between Crips and Bloods or Crips versus Crips, but now the war was against the Southsiders and the whites. And his same enemies that he had beef with on the street behind the prison walls, he would now have to click up with him against a true enemy on the inside. Now, Mumpy still being young, he would start getting into a lot of trouble inside the prison walls. So the opportunity of him going home and being paroled after 9 years would soon fly out that window. Now, as the years would go on, around 1989, as the war raged on in the streets of South Central, Big Mumpy would get bad news while on the inside that his little homie, Lil Mumpy, had been shot and killed. Now this news would hit him very hard because that was his little ace. Now over the next several years, Mumpy will remain active behind the walls, but eventually, as he got older, Mumpy would start to mature and start to realize that if he didn't change, he would never be free. But eventually, Mumpy will become a changed man behind those prison walls. Now, although still probably representing the 60s, he no longer had that same mindset that he had first came into the prison with back in 1979 at the age of 17. Now, after spending 37 years in prison, Big Mumpy would get the good news that he was finally coming home and being paroled. And in 2016, Big Mumpy would get a new lease on life. On June 1st, 2016, he would link up with the little homie, Kev Mack, and other members of the Rollin' 60s to celebrate his homecoming. But sadly, this celebration would turn to sadness only hours after being back home. As Big Mump and his homies waited for their homie, OG Let Loose, to pull up, they would hear gunshots while standing outside. Now, they wouldn't think too much of it, so they would then go inside. Now, while in the inside, hours later, they would get word that the gunshots they heard were on Florence and Crenshaw at an Arco gas station. And they would find out the sad news that their homie, Let Loose, had been shot and killed coming back from a casino.
Breaking news now, a man ambushed and killed at the gas pump. News Chopper 4 over the Porsche SUV that the victim came out of.
When this unidentified man was ambushed and murdered here at the Florence and Crenshaw Arco station. The LAPD says a man pulled up to the pumps in his white Porsche SUV and was confronted when a gunman hopped out of another vehicle. The gunman caught.
And let me tell you something. You don't never know how God is protecting you and keeping you covered, bro. You don't never know who praying over you. You don't know what this man mama was, as far as that go. You don't know, because him going to jail probably saved his motherfucking life. And another thing I want to touch on is, I keep saying with these videos, when you go to jail, you can't protect them people that you love. You can't make sure they're good. You can't make sure they're safe. You can't make sure don't nobody hurt them. You can't do nothing if somebody do hurt them. How you gonna retaliate? You locked the fucked up. So that's another thing. Like, always be leery of shit like that, because you always a part of a system, and when you break that system, you fuck up everything else. So imagine if he was out, he probably wouldn't. His homie probably wouldn't even die, and shit, his mama, he probably would have been helping his mom make sure his mama good. But the fact that you spent 30-something years in jail at 17, niggas, a dead ass fucking shame, because you could have got paroled in 9 years. You telling me you was causing that much mischief and mayhem that you couldn't sit your ass down long enough to get out in 9 years? It took you that long to man up. But thank God that you eventually did. But this is why I say you can't separate. You can't still be the gang member, nigga, and say you matured. Yeah, I get you grew. You ain't out trying to kill niggas, this, that, and the third. Nah, you can't still be representing the gang. I know niggas be in my D. Nah, nigga, you can't still represent the gang. Once you separate from that lifestyle, you got to get out that lifestyle, because the same lifestyle will hunt your ass down. Because, like I said before, you can make enemies during a time frame and then not even be tripping off them niggas, or not even know them niggas is watching you and feeling like they got some type of animosity towards you to try to kill you or something. Like, when you go doing shit in your youth, you can still pay for that shit in your elder age. And this is prime example of this nigga getting pulled up on at the gas station. Because who the fuck know who popped out on this nigga? They probably know, because the streets always talking down in California. They gossip like hoes.
Believe the victim did not know.
A second male approached him, attempted to rob him. During the robbery, he was shot multiple times. The suspect fled the location. We do have a person of interest in custody.
Now, eventually, the man who killed OG Let Loose, named Lorenzo Montgomery, will be found guilty of first-degree murder and will be sentenced to life in prison. And as of today, Big Mumpy is still out, and he could be seen doing interviews on YouTube. I would like to thank everybody for tapping in, and I'll see y'all next time.
Man, look, this shit not worth it, bro. The shit is not worth it. He had all the potential in the world to go do anything he wanted to do at that point. He could have played the piano somewhere. He could have, actually listened to his fucking mama and did what the fuck he was supposed to do. Instead of actually growing the fuck up and actually gaining something, he lost all type of time, my nigga. He lost his 20s, his 30s, and his 40s, my nigga. Came out around his 50s, nigga, or close to. And you really gotta stop and think about that. Do I want this for myself? It ain't about being pussy or scary or none of that. It's about being real. It's about being safe. It's about being sound. It's about having a peace of mind. Because we see so many motherfuckers having PTSD from this shit. We see so many motherfuckers getting beat up in jail, raped in jail, or killed by their homies, or set up by their bitches and shit like that. You see so much of this shit. At some point, you would think niggas will wise up and be like, that ain't really the thing I want to do. But nah, niggas always think it ain't gonna be me till it's them. But it can always be you, because it could be anybody. Anybody can get robbed. Anybody can get shot and killed. Anybody can get set the fuck up. All it takes is that right person or that right situation for that shit to happen. Don't ever think you different from the next man when it comes to shit like that, because at the end of the day, nigga, ain't nobody safe, nigga. Tupac said even a smooth criminal must one day get caught, my nigga. Everybody has it coming at some point. Karma gonna get you at some point. Shit, you gonna get you at some point. Something gonna happen because you still fucking around. But y'all let me know what the fuck y'all think, bro. This is why I say stay out the streets, bro, because real talk, it's easy to die in these streets, but it's hard to live in this world. So when you see all these niggas in the streets, you really got to start looking at them like they pussies, because they really scared. And they running scared, not even knowing that they running scared, because everybody treating this shit like it's the powerful thing to do, like it's the big move to be out here in these streets killing niggas and doing this, that, and the third. You get locked up, you ain't got to worry about no bills. People outside got to worry about you, though. People outside got to send you money, though. When you get shot and killed and you underneath that ground, nigga, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You ain't got to worry about mom, deuce, getting out the hood. You ain't got to worry about your daddy getting out the hood. You ain't got to worry about your siblings get out the hood. You ain't got to worry about your kids no more. You just dead and fucking gone. But what's the point in that? What is it worth? Is it really worth your life? Is it really worth like that much time? My nigga lost 36 years for some dumb shit. Some dumb ass shit. And then mind you, he's paralyzed in one leg. And don't nobody get off scot-free with that shit. Either they got scars mentally, or they got scars physically, or they hobbling around this bitch because a motherfucker put something in them and they can't get that shit out. Pause. But once you get hit by them bullets, bro, and they start tearing through your skin and tearing through your arteries and all type of shit, like, bro, shit ain't sweet, bro. Stop thinking this is Grand Theft Auto, bro, because you're not finna get no second chance to just come out and just take out your enemies and shit. My man's literally crawled his way into a whole nother room to lock the door to call the police. He couldn't call the homies. He called the police. Mind you, he tried to call his moms. So that's my other thing. You got to be more leery about certain things because you know it's going to affect certain people. And he should have stopped and thought about the fact that it was going to hurt his mama to see him in a fucking casket so fucking early. Y'all let me know what the fuck y'all think. Like, subscribe, peace, I'm out.
Hey, these niggas bound to attack. Gotta know your purpose, understand what work is. These snakes is lurking, observe.